Okay, we're here with another battle report. We have 500 points of Bretonnians facing off against 500 points of dwarves using the warband rules. The terrain, we have a hill in the just left to center, and we've got some woods. The dwarven army consists of warriors with a thane, a cannon, a unit of thunderers, and offboard he's got some miners. If you're noticing that looks almost exactly like the starting set in the Skull Pass, that's because it is the starting set from the Skull Pass. Alright, my Bretonnians, I've got a unit of 11 peasant archers skirmishing. I've got a 6-man unit, Knights of the Realm, full command, and I have a 5-man unit, Knights of the Realm, full command, with Paladin as my hero. The Bretonnians prayed, so the dwarves took the first turn. There was no movement on the dwarves' side, and unsurprisingly, they started off shooting the cannon. The blue dice shows where the first guess was. He rolled a 2, which put it right behind the skirmishers. His next roll put the cannonball into the middle of the knights, and he killed one of the knights. It actually didn't bounce far enough to hit the second rank. So on that note, it's the Bretonnian turn 1. I haven't faced the cannon before, so I wasn't exactly sure what to do, but I knew I didn't want that happening the whole game. So I decided to take both of the knights in turn and get around behind the hill, and then try to do a combined charge on the dwarven warriors, while the peasants screen the knights from the cannon and try to whittle down his thunderers. So whittling down, I killed 1, which I'm not sure that range is probably okay. Okay, so on the dwarven turn, his next turn, he rolled for his miners, and they came in right where you see them, setting up for a flank charge on the knights. And the green dice shows where his cannon bounced. He actually, the called range put him right in front of the skirmishers. It landed at the green dice, and then he rolled a misfire, which was lucky for me because that was not looking good for those knights there. So on the Bretonnian turn 2, the knights next to the miners, I thought I could get him out of charge range, so I turned him to the right, moved his 6 inches, but I also did a wheel because I didn't want that cannon shooting me again, and then turned him around, thinking I might be far enough away from those dwarven miners, but as it turns out, I was just inside. And then the other unit of knights moved up behind the hill, so at least now he can't shoot either one of my knights with his cannon. So between the thunders and the cannon, I lost a skirmisher, and he charged. He ended up being in range with his miners, so he charged the knights. The net result of the combat was I didn't have any unsaved wounds. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I didn't have any unsaved wounds. Coming back, I did 3. So between 3 casualties, mass, and a banner, I beat him pretty significantly. He failed his check and ran off the board. I pursued after him. Probably should have tried to restrain pursuit, but that's a noob mistake. Anyway, so there I am off the board, although I could come back on my next turn. Speaking of my next turn, the knights behind the hill are quite happy to stay where they're at for at least another turn. I want to bring the other knights up, and the skirmishers start moving forward on the hill, and the guys who just ran off the board move over to the left. Dwarven turn, a little bit of jockeying around on his side, not a lot of moving, and I think I'll lose 1 more archer to the combined shooting of the cannon and the thunderers. Okay, Bretonnia turn 4. The marchers continue to move up. The full strength knight unit stays where he's at, and now my depleted knight unit can march. So I'm getting pretty close to going after those warriors. But I'm also starting to get into normal range for his thunders. So on this turn, between the cannon and the thunders, I lose 3 archers. And fortunately, I was close enough to the knights and the paladin to pass their break check or their panic check. So Bretonnian turn 5. It's kind of now or never time. So I move the skirmishers up to try to screen as much as I can the knights, although it ends up not being enough. And I'm setting up a combined charge on the warriors. Okay, so dwarven shooting. He between the cannon and the thunderers, he ends up killing 2 knights. I'm not sure what killed what. So we're done with that. Now, if you look real close, I'm not entirely sure we did this correctly, but I want to combine charge, which I'll show in the next slide, of the 2 knights on the warriors. But if you notice, the skirmisher's just a little bit in the way. So what I did is I wheeled the right-hand unit, charged the left-hand side of the warriors, and then wheeled the right-hand unit, or the left-hand unit, and charged the right-hand side of the warriors. Kind of a cross charge. I'm not entirely sure we did that correctly, but my opponent and I looked at it and we didn't really have a problem with it, so it made kind of sense. So we'll find out later from the comments. So combined charge on the warriors. 2 knights come crashing in. Gets another look at it. So what ends up happening is I think my paladin, who always has to challenge, puts 1 wound on the thane, and between everybody else they killed 3 more. There were no unsaved wounds coming back. So between 4 wounds, mass, rank, and banner, I had a pretty substantial combat res, which he did not panic check. He fled off the board, and I pursued off the board, and that was the end of the game. It ended up being a minor victory for the Bretonnians. See you next time.